So, first question, why is the Kermadec special to Te Aupori?
It's an interesting question, that one. Te Aupori has had an ongoing relationship with the Kermadec Islands and the ocean region since, let's say, the beginning of time. The Kermadecs have both an historical and contemporaneous relationship with our people. The Kermadec Islands are where we fished, repaired our waka, particularly the waka that we used on the way from Hawaii to New Zealand, or to Aotearoa. And that's where we took respite and refuge on those ocean voyages. It's a place where, in contemporary times, we have also fished. So it is special to us. We lived there. We integrated with people that were living there at the time, but I can't tell you who they were at all. And because we lived there, we actually named various areas around where the canoe that we were on at the time was called Kurahopo, and it was damaged on the voyage, and so it called into the Kermadec Islands. That's Rangitahua. That's what we call Raoul Island. It was Rangitahua. In actual fact, it's loosely we call Rangitahua is the whole of that Kermadec region. But that canoe sprung a leak, and so we pulled in there. The name of the place where they repaired the canoe is called Waitangi. And there were some of our people that were actually left there while the Kurahopo continued on and landed at the North Cape.
So, did you get to name the islands, or did they come up with the names?
No, I believe that it was my forebears that named it Rangitahua. I'm still unfamiliar or uncertain at this stage what Rangitahua translated means. I've spoken with a number of my elders, and no one can put their finger on it at the moment.
What is your perspective on the Kermadec Marine Reserve? Should no one be allowed to fish there, or should there only be people that Te Aupori approves?
I think, if I can just start with a little wee bit of background, we were introduced to the concept of a reserve by Minister for Conservation. No, not Conservation, Nick Smith. Fisheries. Minister Nick Smith under the national government rang me one night and said, I'd like to tell you that we are going to make the Kermadec area a sanctuary, and the Prime Minister is in the United States of America now and is looking at announcing this tomorrow morning. I said, well, that's lovely. He said, well, we just wanted to let you know, just to keep you in the loop. And so I asked him, does this mean to say that this is the consultation that you're having with me now with regard to it? And he said yes, initially. And I said, well, this isn't consultation. This is just you giving me a heads up. And he said, oh, yeah, fair enough. Okay. Well, unfortunately, the next day he was asked who he had consulted with, and he gave my name and my iwi as someone that he had consulted with, which was not quite right. But anyway, the bottom line of that is, to answer your question, we are happy with the fact that there's going to be a sanctuary there. We believe that that's a good idea, because we have mana whenua, or a relationship with the land. We believe that we are kaitiaki. We are the people that look after the land there, and we take that role pretty seriously. If we're going to have a sanctuary, that's fine, but I think one of the big things that needs to be recognised is the fact that in 1992 there was a Treaty of Waitangi settlement for fisheries, and during that settlement it was decreed that Maori will have rights for fishing in that area. Now the problem that I've got at the moment is that how can the government make a unilateral decision, as they have done, to turn it into a sanctuary when it's actually been entrenched within the treaty settlement as a fishing area for Maori? The way I liken it is, let's say that we had you bought a section in Auckland, and then the government said, well, we're short on houses in Auckland, Mr. Maru. We'd like to take your section because you're not using it. And you might say, well, I've got intentions of using it when I grow up and get a bit older. And they say, well, no, you're not using it now, so we're going to take it. Now that's pretty much how things seem to be happening with the sanctuary at the moment. But you must understand that we are in favour of a sanctuary, but not to the detriment of Maori rights to fishing.
Hopping back on the fact about how it's that you were, I won't say excited, but you were okay with the idea that there was going to be a marine reserve in there. It's important to have the marine reserve in there because there are other animals that don't thrive there and they just die from fishing, and it's not healthy because some of the species are there and actually vulnerable to us. But it's good that it's been limited down, so I won't say that's completely like no fishing, because you guys still have the right to fish there.
At the moment.
Yes, at the moment. Yeah. So, on to the next question.
Can I just cut in?
Yep.
There? I just want to reiterate the fact that we're happy with the sanctuary. However, most New Zealanders aren't aware that there is already an exclusive zone around a lot of the islands there that extends out to over 12 miles or thereabouts, which was put in place several years back, and so including the fact that there is no mining allowed, there is no way that where all the fish are, people can actually fish, even Maori at this stage, because those limitations or those measures have been put in place at the moment to help with the conservation effort anyway. And so there will be people that you will hear saying things like, there is no need for a sanctuary because we already have those measures in place. We're saying a few more aren't going to hurt. That's all.
So, next question is, do you know that the Treaty of Waitangi settlement over the Crown and Te Aupori, did you know about it? The Waitangi settlement?
Yep, I did. I knew a little bit about it. What actually happened was that two iwi from the far north, Te Aupori, and another iwi called Ngāti Kuri were in the treaty settlement, and both of their treaty settlements were actually given mana whenua status, if you like, over the Kermadec region. That means, just to hark back to what I said right at the start, that we are responsible for the kaitiaki role there. With mana whenua comes a number of other really key things that we believe that we should be involved in, and one of them in particular is management of the whole of that area. And so if there is to be a sanctuary, then Aupori would suggest that if a board is put in place to manage that area, then Aupori would have a seat around that table as well.
Okay. Do you think that it's okay for the government to take back the Kermadec Marine Reserve, and why?
I think I've answered that a
Yeah,
little,
you've covered down
but
pressure in the second question.
but I think just to recap on a couple of things, I don't think it's a good move by the government to, in 1992, give rights to Māori for fishing in that area, and because Māori have said we're not actually going to use them just yet, we will do so later on, the government now comes in and says, well, since you're not using them, well, we want them back. Now that's the big problem at the moment. One of the big issues is we're saying let's share. We can have the sanctuary that you want, so the protection that you want, but you can also have people or Maori fishing in that area anyway. There are a number of sanctuaries around the world, particularly in the Pacific, where indigenous people are also allowed to continue with their fishing rights. Hawaii is one. There are a number of others, but I can't recall off the top of my head, and I won't say just in case I get it wrong.
Okay, and the last question is, who is affected by the marine reserve? I know you said that that you don't want to say some of them because you might get them wrong, but what are some of the definite ones? Because I know there are corporate fishing people who their economy and income will drop. But what else do you think? Who else do you think is affected by this?
I think that the main ones affected by it are Maori, because it's a little difficult to be offered something and then not all of a sudden, but then sometime down the track have that taken away from you. And that's exactly what seems to be on the cards for the government at the moment. So Maori will suffer because the Kermadecs, although we have mana whenua status, the Kermadecs is a fishing area for the majority, if not all, Māori in New Zealand.
Okay, well, thank you for having me, and I really enjoyed speaking to you today, so thank you.
Oh no, thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. If you have any other questions or queries, or if some of the things that I've said have not made sense, or you want some clarification on things, just give me a phone call, and you and I can chat over the phone and get something sorted out if we need to.
Okay.
But thank you for the opportunity. I wish you well with your project.
Okay, thank you.